Hello. This was nice. It would tell me my stream had started so I can like share the link and stuff. Just a couple of things to tune up and then I'll be ready to go. Nice to be able to do this and not have any tech issues or anything. Live. Go to control room. All right. Y'all gotta be nice because my family's tuning in for this one. All right, let's get started. Not talking to myself, Mom. I'm talking to you and anybody else who tunes in and watches it later. It's real, I promise. So my friend Lizzie suggested I do a stream on how to fence lefties on the theory that people make out to be some kind of a boogeyman and really it's basically just like fencing righties. I made a playlist of mostly my videos showing how I've developed through the years and showing how people of different skill levels fence and respond to that. Got a couple of bad fencers, got a couple of good fencers, and then I have a couple of videos from Leland Gaiman from Canada showing him having trouble with lefties and him fencing righties, and we'll talk about how he can what he was having trouble with. Before we get started, there's a lot of early success lefties see that other fencers don't, because one of the common issues that fencers have is that when they first get started, they tend to hold their arm like this and like a chicken wing, and all of this area gets exposed as target. And when you're fencing somebody opposite-handed, all of this target is very open. When you're fencing somebody who's the same hand as you, they have to go through your belt to get it, so it's less obvious, even though it's still there. So when you're fencing a lefty, they'll always see this target, and every lefty you fence will see this target. And so you think you have trouble fencing lefties when they just happen to be able to take advantage better of a hole that everybody has. And you can do the same thing on lefties, except that lefties are fencing righties all the time. And so they get this beaten out of them a lot faster. And either, they close it up a little bit or they go into weird absence or something. But they learn to tuck their elbow in a lot sooner. So righties aren't as able to take advantage of it because it goes away a lot faster. All right. This is a video of me, I don't even know, sophomore year of college probably. I had no idea what I was doing. I was kind of just bouncing around looking for a parry. But you can see my opponent gets pretty confused as we play this video.
You don't always have to go with kind of tried and true, which for you is like counterattacks.
Step in, step out, vary in a pattern.
And they work for you, but
One of the things that can make a difference is that blade work becomes very different when you're fencing a lefty versus a righty, simply because the angles are different. If your technique is good, it won't matter that much. But at low levels like this, when you're looking for the blade, it can be very difficult because you're not getting the same reactions you're looking for. And so this guy gets kind of confused and just stops doing anything, really. He doesn't know what to do here. He's just sitting there hoping that I'll go into his search. Which I do, because I didn't know what I was doing. I just doing random things and hoping I could be more athletic. It's good that he's keeping his feet active, but there's no pressure here. So I can just keep my arm out and safe shots at the wrist. But, you know, this issue that he's having of only ever looking for the blade and never making an attack is not unique to fencing a lefty. It's a common issue that you can have fencing a lefty, fencing a righty. And it's something you have to work on to be more aggressive.
nice. Good touch.
Good counter flush. I remember watching this when I was younger, and a couple years after it happened, thinking it was awful fencing. I just could not stand to watch any of my videos. But looking back now, it's not that bad. There's a lot of good stuff here. Good little wrist pick. It's almost over.
Someone grab his water bottle. Where? I don't know exactly where it is. That's smart. It could be around here or it's over there. Watch the got room.
Now with two points up, I'm not as willing to push. I'm letting him push me back, and he just doesn't have anything. But it's not because I'm left-handed. It's because he has no offensive actions.
So you're trying to get footage of it, but like doesn't really get that far enough to like.
It's my friend Duncan Emerson on the camera. He and his twin Henry. All right. Foot touch. I didn't protest, and I love protesting, so it's probably a good hit. This was another combination I had when I was younger. I would go really hard the first half of the bout, and then get really tired and stop working. Good morning, T-Powered Robot. How are you doing today? Yeah, if I had been moving like I had at the beginning of the bout, that would have been an easy counter.
Is it the one with the top? Yeah. Ref, can I get a timeout?
Just making fun of him. Alright, so this is maybe a year or so later. My fencing, comparatively speaking, has not gotten significantly better. But I'm fencing John Normile, who is a former Olympian, incredibly fast. My enduring memory of fencing him this tournament, which I did twice, is that it was a normal bout, and if I ever stood still for a moment, he would immediately hit me on the foot. It's my sister on the camera here. You can see John is a lot less blade oriented. Case in point, a very nice. You made a mega mug of coffee while the cats had Rumble Mania. That sounds dangerous if they don't spill the coffee. John's not looking for the blade, he's looking for an opening. And he's not pushing, but he knows he's capable of it. He's just waiting for me to mess up. And I'm pushing in and out, waiting to try to get a commitment out of him. Got off the ship there. Fortunately, she doesn't notice. I don't know why John was at this tournament. I think he just wanted a sword. A really nice flesh. I was so proud of that flesh when I was watching this video before. Yes, these are my Maryland socks, and I am extremely happy with them. And they don't fit around my calves anymore, and it's really frustrating, but I wore them for many, many years. And now I just have a pair of boring Ullman socks. So we're going here, and it's... You can't see the blades as much because... that's what it was like in 2014. Floor hit there. But you can see I am also not looking for the blade. I'm just playing with distance. And distance is distance no matter what hand your opponent is holding their weapon in. If they're holding it here, just in a normal on guard, you can't take it because they're waiting for you. If they're extended, the angles are about to the same. It's only if you have really heavy blade contact that even begins to make a difference. Watching this now, my critique on myself is that I'm tensed up a lot every time I try to draw a reaction. The feints are like kind of a thing, and I need to just make them smooth and forward. To be fair, my attacks are like that too. But that's my big critique. When I'm on guard, when I'm just moving, I move pretty well. And then of course I stop and I lose it all. And YOLO flesh for no reason. The key to making lots of coffee is to do it while the cats are tiring themselves out so the coffee is safe on the desk. Also having a heavy mug. You should put spikes on the mug, and that will solve your problem immediately. Possibly also for you. And about. This was at least a decade ago. I was on my way back to college, and my sister wanted to come for a visit. So we swung down through Charlotte, driving back to Maryland, just to do this tournament, and so she could come hang out with me. This is Magico Sardinas, who came in from Cuba to move to America and be a coach here, and he showed up as a U at this. This is a Pennsylvania State Games, and I have no idea. We had no idea who he was, except he was beating everybody. And then I had him in my DE, and it was sad. But this is the same kind of a thing, right? He's left-handed, I'm left-handed, but my game is the same. This is why I pulled this video, and I think the next one also. No, there's blade work a little bit, but beat go, it's the same as ever. Wow, that was a really nice parry. I'm better than I remember being. Yeah, so it's poke and play with the distance, and very bad attempted wrist shots. I know I had a big issue of getting too much on my feet, and falling over my front foot too much. But the same idea still applies. Control of the distance, good movement is the key to good fencing, and that does not change if you're left-handed or right-handed. He's so relaxed. I can't do anything offensively, and I internalized that and became an issue for a long time in my career. Because I was moving so well, and if people attacked me into my movement, I was ready for them. Like that parry I got. That really looks like a hit to me. Hard to say. Did he give it the touch? Looks like he did.
Okay. No, I can drive. I just have to. I'm gonna finish videotaping Scott first.
This is Rachel Kraft videotaping. Her husband Dennis is a top fencer for the States. Was back then, is still now. And she fences as well, although not quite at the same level. I think they're in New York now. Pretty decent guy. It's the same deal. I'm moving well, but I don't have any offense. And that's the story of my career. I need to bend my knees more. And whenever I get surprised, I jump up like that. I need to just keep my knees bent. I could make a whole video of just... Oh, almost got that one. Yeah, I was really close to getting that 8 in. Could make a whole video of me just showing mistakes everybody makes using clips of me. I went to Summer Nationals the year before as a present to myself. I bought a new jacket, put USA on it. It's like, yeah, I'll probably stay here for a while. 2 years later, I was gone. And he knows now that I can't do anything to him. As long as he waits for me to attack him like that. And then he gets it. Because I have no patience and no offense. But I can apply a lot of pressure. Yep, good timing on him. Very high up, very obvious attack. Probably late with the arm too. I think that's Jason Billington in the background, who was one of my first, I don't exactly want to say coach. He was in the pit club when I went there for breaks, for college breaks. Yeah, nothing. He's just going to attack me now and make me jump. He is really, really good, Jason Billington. He was like a U and he spent the summer at DCFC and came back in A, and he was just so long and smooth. A lot of fun to fence him. Yeah, I got nothing left here. Alright, let's move on. I lose this bout really badly. He's an international Cuban fencer. This is another lefty. A bit more of an aggressive one. Knocks me right off the back of the strip. This is at my old club DCFC. Definitely go check it out if you're there. Especially back then, I would feed off the energy of my opponent. So he goes high energy, I go high energy, just matching their tempo, which is never good. Kind of a weird opposition flush there. Yeah, you can see he's doing blade work here too. And Clinton fences mostly righties, although there were a lot of lefties in this club. And he's just not really doing anything. And you can see the evolution of my style here, where I'm still pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling in and out a lot without any focus on blade work. which in retrospect is a really good way to fence. So I should send my coach a thank you. I quit arguing. Missed it. It's really what it comes down to in the end, though, is who controls the distance. And if you can do that, it doesn't matter if they're left-handed or right-handed. But we are going to get to Leland's videos, and I am very curious what it's going to look like with him, because he claims to have a significant difference between fencing righties and lefties. How are we doing here? All right, a couple more touches. See what Rodel does here. Good touch by me. So I could do that on a righty with the 4, and I can do that on a lefty with the 4. If you flush, your arm is extended, same action, and then I hit as you go by. My coach must have been so mad at me, because like that was a phenomenal touch. If I could get one of those today, I'd be happy with it. And then right back, I go back to doing stuff like this. Yeah, I have to do it. You really could just sit there and wait for me, and I would throw myself at you randomly, and you would get lots of touches. And people who did that were so annoying. Used to be good people because they would be active, and lose to bad people because they were passive. And if they were passive, I would throw myself at them. I like to think I've learned patience since then. Yeah, everybody has flashes of brilliance, but that was a really good parry. And then the 6 against Magicos Sadinas in the last clip. And then the one against Normal wasn't so much a flash of brilliance as it was a flash of brilliance. Yeah, here he's just waiting for me. And I have just enough sense to know that I can't jump out an exposed arm. Yeah. But, you know, it's going to happen eventually. Alright. Next video is me in March. Basically, the best I've ever fenced. It's going to be a couple of bouts showing how that's advanced and how still the same principles of lefty-lefty and lefty-righty apply. One thing I will say in defense of people who think there's a big difference is that I don't have a very blade work heavy style. I didn't then and I don't now. And if you do, you might find that. Counter there. But if you notice, it's the same kind of a thing where I'm just randomly poking at the wrist, but I'm a lot smoother with it now. And I'm less smaller extensions, more relaxed all around. I'm doing less to not get a reaction. And then it's easy to transfer that into more forward motion. Faster shots to the wrist, cleaner hits. Good foot touch by him. I lose this one. But you can see is not, it's still, he's controlling the distance. I'm doing what I said before where I fall into his tempo a little bit. And I still have weak attacks when they're just waiting for me, but more patience now. I would have flushed twice if it was back in 2014. So I keep it close. 2-3. It's that thread of the active fencer controlling the distance is the one who wins the bout, barring any obvious, very basic technical issues. Not who's left-handed, who's right-handed. That has been my experience over 14 years in this sport. Yeah, he got the 1 foot touch, and then we doubled out after that. I think I came close to the wrist a few times, but I think this was my third bout of 5, and I was a little tired just from the excitement of being there and spending all this time. But I had a lot of fun. Totally worth it. Yeah, I was really close to getting that one. But he beat me. And then this is the one I won. I'm very happy with this bout. I watch it all the time. And he is a more blade work heavy fencer. And I don't think that makes a difference if I'm left-handed or right-handed. You can see how he's going to be searching a lot coming forward. You know, maybe he'll search in 6 instead of 4, like that. If I'm right-handed, but the setup works out the same, and you really need both of them anyway. Maybe it's Borovic. Maybe his name wrong the whole time. I don't think so. Yeah. So one thing to notice here is that those are situations where I would be jumping 10 years ago that I'm keeping low. Now, I'm not quite keeping my feet under me as best as I should, but I'm still keeping low and settled so I can pull out the counter from it. Yeah, good one from him to take that 4. This is a really good touch where I just take control of the distance, and he searches. I poke at the hand and I poke at the hand, break distance, and he searches, but the search misses, but the search doesn't miss because I'm left-handed. The search misses because I've set that touch up and I'm already going backwards to avoid it. And then he comes forward like this, and his hand is just exposed and very easy. And that one, he just lost his head. It's just windshield wipering at me now. Yeah, up, down like this. That's just an easy counter lefty righty. Anybody, especially at the World Cup level, is going to be able to hit your wrist, even if they're right-handed and you're right-handed. And then get a little bit too passive. Stop worrying about the distance and just start that same push-pull that I did 10 years ago. Still doing it. Same. That was a little jerky. I've been doing that exact move for 10 years apparently. 12 years. That's kind of cool to see. And now this one's a lot of fun. He really wants it. I get a really nice flick. Alright. Leland Gammon, I think, on the right, sent this one in. He was a top Canadian fencer, got hurt, took a bunch of time off, took a few years off after the last quad, came back, got hurt, came back again, keeps kicking ass in Canada. We have a couple of bouts of his against a lefty, a couple of lefties, and a couple of bouts against righties. And he says he does a lot worse against lefties than righties. So we'll see about that. He also says, and this is less relevant because he's basically retired, he didn't want to give away his fencing because he was strong in 2 areas with only 2 attacks and very mediocre at everything else, which is relative. Alright, we got a lot of poking at the wrist. What I'm seeing is a little bit of uncomfortableness. Really good hit there. Not a lot of active play with the distance here from Leland or the other guy. But when you're long and lanky and you can just counterattack all the time, it's less important. Goes back a little bit. A lot of waiting around now from Leland. Very big commitment there. Yeah. I mean, it would be better if they were blue, but coordinating shoes and socks is pretty cool. And just no setup at all from either one of them, really. Couple of light hand punches from either side. See, we're gonna have to watch the righty videos to see. Hey Walker, you need neon green socks now. That would be phenomenal.
Yes, Leland, nice.
Ooh, missed it over the top. Unfortunate. It could be that these long hits to the hand are exposing the arm in a way that's easier for lefties to punish. But this guy hasn't gotten a hit yet, so we don't know how he's going to hit him. Hit to the hand, maybe. Missed that. I think Leland's trying to draw him in now. Good. That was a good push. Let's see if he can make anything of it. There we go. Good back foot there. We talked about this on the taller, shorter fencer, where you need the extra space to go back and forward against a taller fencer, and if they get pinned to your back line, you're kind of screwed. That's a little bit of what happened there. Yes, Walker, get on the strip. Get on the strip, Shinji. And now he's really pushing. And Leland is not responding well. I don't know if he's just not used to seeing a tip there, which is weird, but he's very he seems very, very pressed and pressured even though he's got all that distance to go. And we go to priority. So what we've seen here is that when the lefty fencer presses hard, Leland begins to fall apart a little bit. When Leland becomes a little bit more aggressive, like he is now, he tends to pull it off a little bit more. Searching for the blade. Almost unfortunate timing on the flush, even though it wasn't really set up. Leland was taking the small six, and the guy kind of flushed into it and left himself wide open for a post from Leland. Good final touch. All right, this is Benjamin Stephan, who is very, very good. He's a guy with the famous splits clip. Let's see. More active feet this time. Gets caught looking there. Fundamentally, lefty righties, you're just fencing in a mirror. So if your opponent keeps picking your hand, you should be able to do the same thing to them, unless they can knock it off, unless they're better at defending it. Leland got a really nice foot hit there. One of the things we haven't talked about much is positioning on the strip. I still can't see the hit. Ah, hi. Probably beat. Which you'll get in a lefty-righty match that you won't get in a same-handed match is who gets their blade on the outside. And some people love having their blade on the outside, and some people don't. I used to love it because it simplifies the actions. You can just take six and go always. If you're on the inside and you try to take a six, you're wasting time. And I could see if you're a righty and you don't fence a lot, that sort of jockeying for position, Nashu, can throw your game off. But you'd have to ask a righty to confirm. And if you look here, you know, a high level bout, good touch. They're not really jockeying side to side at all. This is a really nice, I think that was on the wrist. Belt hit? Belt hit? Mask it. It's mask to mask maybe. That's confusing. Alright, where are we? Leland goes short, he gets countered, but that, you know, that can happen to anybody. Much better dealing with the pressure here from Stephan. He's more active against it than he was in the last bout. Nice stuck. That was fun. I don't know if you guys can hear that. He said it's very frustrating for a big pride man like this to get hit by that. Where Benjamin Steffen, at the time, and probably still if he bothered to fence, he's retired, is one of the best in the world, and Leland just hit him with a duck and counter like that, which is a very swag move.
At least the second.
I am seeing a lot of flicks from Leland. Kind of a lot of very low risk, low percentage shots, hoping to catch Steffen on the timing. And a lot of them are missing. And they are low risk, low percentage, but I can see someone who relies on that having trouble with lefties because the target moves differently than you expect. And like the angles aren't there in the same way. Like if you flick to the flank against the righty, you flick 4, you aim over here, it's closer than it would be if you aimed over here for a lefty. And if I have a very straight ahead style, and that matters a lot less. Because if I need to move over a little bit, I can just tip my tip. Ooh, really good opposition from there. Great. Phenomenal bout. Alright. So he says he's bad against lefties. And then he gave me 2 videos of him beating lefties. And then he says he's better against righties. He gave me 2 videos of him getting beaten by righties. Although these are 2 really good righties. One of the things I'm looking for here is Leland changing his game significantly, lefty versus righty, where you kind of psych yourself into doing it. You think lefties are so different, fence them very differently, and then because you're not fencing your A game, because you've turned that off because they're left-handed. Okay, this is not relaxed Leland. This is very tense Leland. He's not moving like he did against Steffen. He's not pushing at all, even against like he did against the first guy, the Polish guy. This is kind of scared Leland. I'm sorry, Leland. Also funny to see the difference in my physical fitness after 8 years. Yeah, I noticed that too watching my own videos. I was like, oh dang, I was skinny. Am I wrong? Now that you're here in the chat, do you remember what you were thinking at this part of the bout? Because you do look very tense and nervous. Yeah. You were scared. I know the feeling. I've been there too. I think if you'd have moved like you did against Steffen, that last hit would have been yours instead. You caught him and then you were like short and tense on the flesh, and so you whiffed and he got the remise. But not a lot here that looks...
Be ready.
I don't know, it's hard to say because you're doing badly, and yet you said you do bad against the lefties. You're trying to draw him out so you could counter. I'm not seeing a lot of. Okay, so that's a body feint. Everything was riding on that first touch. You almost had it. You really did. You almost had it. What I was seeing a lot of against Steffen was you going for short target and then building off that. And I'm not seeing that here. I don't know if that's only something you do against lefties or if you just like don't want to do it against Fava, which is reasonable. Yeah, that's looking for a counter. I can see it. Attack arrives. Yep. Yeah, scared. I don't know. I'm sorry. Not a lot to say. Versus Favi, you don't want to give him that front foot from to flush into. You mean on the step? Okay, interesting. All right, we got already a better looking Leland here. Short target shot, short target shot. Foot is short target, is what I mean by that. A lot of slow jockeying for the distance here. Yeah, double, nothing done. Quian looking for a little bit more blade actions. But just remember the Jurvik bout against me, he's doing that forced search exactly the same way. Worse and bigger because Quian's one of the best in the world. Good parry there. But the same actions are coming up. There's just a limited number of things you can do in fencing that work. And cut standing. Yep. There's just a limited number of things you can do that work, and when they work equally well against lefties and righties. Didn't want to be on the offensive, wanted to get him searching for my blade on his way in, then either counter or parry or post. Yeah, you're not an aggressive guy. Nice counter. And I can see what you're trying to do here, and you look like you're doing a lot better at it. You just look more relaxed and you're moving better. And you're poking at his hand and making him think. And so you're drawing out that the search like that, the search. And then you're trying to give him different things that kind of look like what he's looking for. This is how you play the game, is you try to show them what they're looking for even when it's not there. Which is, again, just to keep going back to it, not a lefty-righty thing, it's just how you fence. This is a fun bout, though. Yep. False attack there. If Quinn extends into that, he's getting hit by that flick immediately. Oh my gosh, that was so fast. Yeah, another pick at the wrist there. That could just be it, is that you're just more comfortable doing that kind of a wrist pick stuff against righties than against lefties. And I will say, to the extent I go to the wrist, I do it a lot more against righties myself. And lefties, I'm a lot more liable to just, feint for the face or something. It feels like a much bigger commitment to go to the wrist just because I'm not used to it. So that could just be the whole difference there. Those are the precise actions in fencing, is getting that. Oh. Slipped a little bit, a little too aggressive. What do you got left on the clock? 40 seconds? 20 seconds, okay. Yeah, this is when you really got to push. Too much reset. You only got 10 seconds left. You really got to go. And now let's Clan pick his spots. What time is it? Okay. I don't know what that is. Oh, I do know what that is. I don't know who they are though. That's all I have for today. If you watched through the whole thing, thank you very much. I think that was only my mother. Unless she didn't, in which case it's very embarrassing. So the conclusion is there's not much difference fencing lefties righties. And we just did an extended analysis of fencing lefties righties at several different levels of fencing, and it's something to keep in mind when you go fence. Don't worry about if they're lefty or righty, because the worst thing you can do is take yourself out with it. Thank you for joining me, Land.